Okay, here's how I got a lorry license, basically for free, and here's how you can do it as well. So basically there was a shortage of lorry drivers in the UK, and so the government said, right, we need lorry drivers, let's start paying for people to get their licenses. I was lucky enough to be put through forward with this scheme, where basically your training from start to finish is completely paid for. There are a couple things that you do have to pay for, which is why I said basically free, but not entirely for free. What I did have to pay for, I had to pay for my theory tests. So that's the hazard perception, that's your actual CPC, and your theory question tests as well. I had to pay for those. I also had to pay for my medical, but that was literally it. Other than that, that's all I paid for. And all of that added up to about £160, because I remember it was £60 for all the theory tests and £100 for the medical. You can probably find somewhere that does medical cheaper though, so that's on you. What I didn't have to pay for is my reversing certificate, the fuel the lorry used, access to the lorry, the days of training. I didn't pay for any of it. And finally, my lorry test, I didn't pay for that either. All of that was completely funded. So normally this would go from 1,500 to 2,500 plus if you wanted the full course. But for me, it literally cost £160. Everything else was paid for. So how long did it take for me to get this license? Well, it was early spring where I actually started looking into this. And so I did my tests, smashed them all. I did my medical, smashed it all. That took about maybe 2 weeks. And then the actual training itself, from when you're hopping in the lorry for the first time to getting your lorry certificate, that took me 5 days. It started on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You have 2 days off on the weekend. And then Monday is your final little bit of training. And then Tuesday was when I actually did my test. Cool, so how do you get your license, you might be asking? Right, what you need to do immediately first is see if this scheme is even going on. If it's not going on, you're not gonna get a license at a massive discount. But hop online, whether it's the government website. My friend actually gave me a phone number that I could put somewhere around here, and I gave it a call. And they said, yes, we're still doing this funded training. We are still teaching people how to get their lorry licenses and so on and so forth, and we'll do it for completely free. So you need to find one of those academies. Find a PLA, which is a personal learning account, which could be through a college, or find a training school, a lorry training school that is nearby. Those two things usually will have that funding access. Once you've found that, they're gonna ask you a few questions to make sure you're eligible. You need to be earning under a certain amount. You need to be living in the UK, so proof of address, proof of work, so on and so forth. Once you can prove that you are eligible, they'll put you straight through and see if they have the funding for you. So this took a while. I was a little bit confused what was going on. I think it took 1 week before they found out that I actually was good to go. And so the entire process altogether, from looking online to passing my test, took 3 months, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because I passed in April, so it took me 3 months to have no idea what a lorry even does to being able to drive one. It took me about 3 months. But from touching the lorry for the first time to passing my test, that only took 5 days. So hop online, go and look for a PLA or some sort of school that trains people how to drive. Make sure you're eligible, apply, call, email, just hound them a little bit, because it can be a bit slow, but just hound them, keep messaging them, keep emailing them. And once they hit you up, make sure you've done your theory and make sure you've passed it. Make sure you've done your hazard perception as well. Another thing is you need to make sure that you've done your medical. Once all that's done, you are basically good to go. I wasn't able to go through with all the training until I'd finished those things. It might be different now, but that is just how it was for myself. Why did I choose to go and be a lorry driver? Well, there was high pay. Since there was a shortage in lorry drivers, I thought, well, these guys are getting paid quite a decent amount of money, and jumped on the license. And then I was getting paid a good amount as well. I don't do lorry driving anymore. I've actually switched jobs again, but it was my highest paying job. I've never had a job pay that much. So if you want to increase your income, if you want a high paying skill, lorry driving is definitely something that I would look into. If you're willing to spend 10 plus hours a day driving trucks. But yeah, that's how I got my license for basically free. Hopefully you guys can apply the same thing. You message me if you need a number. I'm based in Wales, so I can maybe forward a Welsh number to you. But that's how I did it. Anyway, I wish you guys good luck. Go and get your licenses. Go and drive trucks. Peace.